Hello and welcome back to your mat. Welcome to your practice. Today we're going to do a little travel gratitude class. So this is great for maybe the holiday time and you've got a lot of traveling coming up, or you just maybe you're just short on time, not traveling at all, but maybe you're just really short on time. So we're going to really focus on keeping this simple and short, and no props are going to be needed. You can do this almost anywhere. And we're going to throw in a little gratitude for fun. So we'll get started right away with a quote and we'll get moving. And this quote is also, I decided to play around a little bit with some AI, which is kind of new for me, but I decided to utilize ChatGPT for some quotes. And this is the one it came up with today, so we'll see, do you like it or not? Let me know in the comments. No matter where the road takes you, gratitude is the compass that always leads you home. So let me know, do you like that one or not? I don't know that I'm going to be using ChatGPT for all of my quotes, but sometimes it's fun to play around. So we're going to start standing. So I did design this practice with the idea that you might have maybe you just arrived from somewhere, maybe you arrived back home, but if you didn't, these are just great poses to do in general. So we're going to go ahead and get started standing here. Gonna move everything here so we're set up. And we're just gonna start with some standing cat-cows. So I'm gonna turn to the side so you can see this. So if you know what cat-cow is, you probably have an idea what we're gonna do. We're gonna do this standing. So again, you could do this anywhere. You might be standing in line somewhere at an airport, or maybe you're at home and waiting around for something to happen. I don't know, wherever you might be. So we're gonna just go ahead and kind of bend our knees here loosely, and we're gonna inhale and arch the lower back and rise open up the chest here, open up the throat, bring the chin up, and then you're gonna exhale and tuck the tailbone and round the spine. So we're doing a little standing cat-cow. Inhale, arch that lower back, exhale, round in. We'll do that a few rounds. This is just nice to open up the spine, loosen up the spine. After, if you've been in the car for a while, you've maybe been commuting somewhere, you've been on a flight, just to really open up that spine, or just any time. Maybe you've just been sitting for too long and you didn't travel anywhere. It doesn't matter. Just a nice way to open everything up. And throughout today's practice, I want you to also think about the concept of gratitude. I am recording this for a November class here, and it's going to be airing it is airing near Thanksgiving. So that was part of the thought process there. But gratitude is something we can have year round. Let's do a couple more rounds. And I think a gratitude practice is really, really such a helpful thing to add into our day. It's such a simple thing. You can think of 3 things you're grateful for at the end of your day, the beginning of your day. Let's go ahead and stand all the way up, and now we're going to do some very simple neck rolls here. So as we're doing that, we're going to go ahead and bring the right ear to our right shoulder. Bring the chin down to your chest, and now bring your left ear to your left shoulder. Back down to your chest, and back over to the other side. So just really simple, easy, not forceful, slow movements. If you have any neck issues or this bothers your neck, please skip the pose. But I want you just to maybe think about maybe adding this into your daily routine, like when you wake up in the morning. Right off the bat, what are 3 things you're grateful for? Or maybe as you go to sleep, what are 3 things you're grateful for in your day? In your life? And then go ahead and bring your head back up to center. Now we're just going to do some simple shoulder rolls. Nothing fancy here. I'll turn to the side. Just rolling them back and down, up, back and down. Gratitude is the opposite of thinking about what we might be lacking. It's thinking of the things that we're grateful that we have. We can always think of what we don't have, what we wish we had, whatever that might be. But if we can have moments of gratitude throughout our day or throughout our week, our month, our year, it can really have a positive ripple effect throughout. And then go the opposite direction. So go ahead and roll them forward and down, up, forward and down. And sometimes you may find it easier to come up with things you're grateful for, and other times it might be harder. And on those harder days, think of the simple things. I'm glad I have clean, fresh water to drink. I'm glad I have food in my refrigerator. I'm glad I have Grateful for the warm bed I have and the blankets and the clothes. Let's come back to the front here. And now we're just going to side bend over to the right. So I'm going to leave my right hand down my side here and just side bend over to the right. And then come back up. We're going to move through this a few times. Side bend to the left. So just go ahead and go through that a few rounds. And think about right now, top of your head, what are the first 3 things that come to your mind that you're grateful for? Some of us may have a lot, so each day it's easy. Some days it's easier to come up with them than others. It depends on that day. But what can you think of right now, in this moment, 3 things you're grateful for? And then let's go another round each side, right and left. And then we'll come to stand at the top of our mat and we'll do a quick little gratitude flow here. So here we go. We're going to do inhale, bring your arms up overhead, and exhale, we're going to fold forward. And then from here, I want you to what's called ragdoll. So I just want you to hang here. So you can grab opposite elbows and just hang here for a moment. Grasping the elbow there, the elbows, and just letting yourself dangle. Deep bend in your knees is fine. Straight legs, whatever works for you. Place your hands on the ground and step that right foot back and come into a low lunge. So drop that back knee. You can untuck those back toes. Come up into your low lunge. You can come forward more. Hands can be on the ground, or you can be more upright with your hands on your knee. Whatever feels most useful for you. So it really depends. You might have tight quads. In that case, you're going to want to be more upright because you're going to really feel that more in your quads. Maybe it's your hip flexors are really tight. Right along up in here, up into your hips. Then coming forward more is going to help. So pick which one, or do a little bit of both. Place that right hand down, left arm up, and twist to your left. Give ourselves a nice little twist here, opening the body. You can also bring the arm out behind you and look behind you, get even a little deeper twist there. And then bring it forward. And now we're going to come into a high lunge. So go ahead and come up off that knee. And we're going to bring the arms back behind us, either grabbing the forearms or the elbows, opening up that chest. The other option would be a nice cactus arm here. So open up the chest that way. Especially if you've been traveling or commuting or just sitting for a while. We tend to be a little more rounded when we're sitting. Let's open up the chest. This is a great way to release any of that travel, sitting kind of stagnation. And then go ahead and step forward on the top of your mat. And we're going to come into just sink back into a quick little chair here. Build a little bit of strength there, and then go ahead and stand all the way up into your mountain pose and release. All right, other side. Inhale, rise all the way up, ragdoll. So go ahead and fold forward here and grab opposite elbows and just, you can sway your body here, but really ragdoll. Just let everything go into the mat. Release it all. Plant your hands on the ground, step that left foot back and come into your low lunge. So I would suggest whatever you did on the first side, do on the second side. So if you want to work more on those, if you have tight quads, stay more upright. The hip flexors a little higher up there, and the hip sink lower in. Hands can be on the ground, or if you're more upright, they'll be on your knee. So you decide what you need today for you, or maybe you need a little bit of both. You can always pause the video and do that if you need to do a little bit of both. And now you're going to plant that left hand down and twist to the right. Open up there. And I'm going to drop my hand down back behind me and look behind me and open up deeper into that twist there. And then plant that hand and let's come up into a high lunge. So tuck those back toes, lift that back knee, and come all the way up into your high lunge with either cactus arms, grabbing the forearms behind your back or your elbows, whatever is best for you. But really, it's about opening across the chest. Having gratitude for this body, this practice, the ability to do this almost anywhere if you needed to. You could stop and just do this wherever. Take a few moments. Gratitude to have a few moments to practice. Step forward, come on into your chair, a quick little brief chair there. Sinking back, really feeling on the heels, and then exhale and come into your mountain pose. And just release all that. Release out of your mouth, release a nice sigh if you need to. Then we're gonna come down. So we're gonna come down into what is called cow face pose. Not sure why they call it that. If that doesn't work for you, you can always just come into a simple seat. But cow face, legs, we're gonna cross that right leg over the top of the left. Now the idea, and this is where it gets a little weird, strange for some people, or hard for some people, is to try to stack your knees while remaining on in your seat here. We're not gonna be focused on your knees need to be stacked or your legs need to be a certain distance out. So just somewhere in this general vicinity is what we're going for. So the knees may not be totally stacked, and if this just really doesn't work for you, then go with that simple seated cross-legged. Okay, so don't try to force your legs into this configuration. Now, if you've got this and you want to add on the arms, or if you're in the seated, the regular seat, we can also do the arms. So my right leg is on top, so we're gonna do the opposite elbow up. So we're gonna bring that left arm up, and my left elbow is up. So you have an option here. You could just grab a hold and pull in that left elbow. Or you can bring this right arm behind you and have it kind of swim up your back and either clasp the left fingertips or just leave it unclasped. So it's just somewhere behind your back here. So I'm gonna turn around so you can see that. We're gonna stay in that pose. I'm gonna try to do that without moving my legs. So the idea is, I can clasp mine because I have pretty good shoulder mobility here, but this may be hard for many of you or some of you. So you can always just grab your shirt, or you can just bring that right arm behind you, but really you're keeping that left elbow pointing up toward the ceiling. So that is the full cow pose, legs and arms. You can always do just the arms with a simple seat. So it doesn't matter if your legs are not gonna work in this configuration. That is perfectly okay. So you have to be okay with what you have and what you're working with. And over time, you may find that you have more of the ability to do some of these poses. And you may not, it just depends. We all have different bodies. And then go ahead and release that. And we'll do the other side. So go ahead and switch out the cross of your legs, either a simple seat or come into your cow pose with your legs out. And now your left leg is stacked on top of your right. So your knees are somewhat stacked. Mine are not exactly stacked. It's really more about, this is good enough. It doesn't have to be exact. Just going for the pose here to see if we can get some release there. So we're gonna go, now that our left leg is on top, our right arm is gonna come up top. So now that right elbow is up toward the ceiling. You can always just grab that and bring that in. Or you can bring that left arm behind you, swimming up your back, however it works, either clasp or no clasp, or just leave it down to the side. So it doesn't have to be, you don't have to bring it all, you don't have to, fight to get there. We want to be able to enjoy the pose. We're not trying to tweak things, hurt ourselves. And if you're not able to get in that pose, notice how you feel. Like if you're like, well, why can't I do my legs that way? Or my arms aren't doing that. Be grateful for just a moment for the fact that you are able to do what you are able to do. So be happy with that. Be grateful with that. And just know over time, as you practice more and more, things will open up more and more. It is inevitable. And then release both of your arms. And now from here, you have a couple of options. So if you are in a room that has a wall, you're not outside like I am, you could do legs up the wall. You could come into Shavasana, your favorite version of Shavasana. You could also come into what's called constructive rest. So that would be lying on your back with your soles of your feet as wide as your mat and your knees knocked in. Any of those are options. I'm gonna do legs up the wall without the wall. So I'm just gonna go ahead and rise my legs up here and just hold them in space here. So the wall is a nice support if you have that to kind of reverse the flow of blood. I do suggest if you're able to get into this pose in any way, It's really helpful, especially if you've been sitting for a while, either from travel or just from sitting too much. This is a great way to kind of release all of that. So I'm going to leave you in this pose or shavasana. You decide where you want to, what you want to end in. Or you could do legs up the wall and then end in shavasana. You decide. So go ahead and stay in whatever pose you've chose. So I'm going to come on up to close you out because I want to keep this shorter since this is supposed to be a more like travel themed class. But again, you can do it anytime that you're short on time, whether you traveled or not. And again, while you're in that last pose, think of 3 more things that you're grateful for. 3 more things. Having gratitude is one of the most, it's simple, but such a positive, profound practice that we can implement into our lives. So thank you for joining me. I'm grateful to each and every one of you for taking your time to practice and take care of yourself. Thank you.